slightly newer faces.
Yeah, coming out of the woodworks, moving their way through the open qualifier, managing to make it here. But, you know, that in of itself is proof that they deserve to be here. And whether or not they're going to be putting on a show for Barrage, you know, we're about to find out. They are going to be on attack first round, going up against Barrage's defense, and they're going to be on Kitchen Trophy Room. Now, this is what we expect from most teams. Some teams prefer the basement, but overall, the majority of teams tend to defend Kitchen Trophy Room. And I find when you're attacking Kitchen Trophy Room, it all comes down to the coordination, whether you can establish yourself on all the windows at the same time and set up those crossfires for the defenders is pretty much all on how in sync with your team you are.
I had a quick look across the Frost first because of how popular shotguns have been on console in the past and their setups, but he's running the SMG.
Yeah, you know, the SMG, the 9mm, I think at the beginning when Frost first came out was regarded as not a very good weapon. As time went by, you know, the Super 90 got nerfed way back, and I think people actually kind of pick her for the traps, just the unexpected, you know, non-predictability of you can't. Who's really looking down when they're engaging someone, right?
Yeah. Especially in the spots. Look at where he's placed them here.
Yeah.
One under the window to trophy, which is fine. People look down when they come in there, but if you do that, you're going to get shot from multiple spots.
Right.
One underneath the trapdoor and kitchen, same thing. If you're looking down for that when you're falling from trapdoor, you're going to get shot from dining room instead. And then that one in the bushes. You're coming in, you're going near those bushes, you're looking across the dining, you're looking out the opposite direction.
Right. And it's not as if her shotgun is bad, but the SMG certainly gives her a lot more versatility.
It's also, since the addition of the extended barrel, been picked up by a lot more players too, because she doesn't have any other barrel attachment options. She's not got much versatility there.
So you may as well put it on there.
Yeah, may as well put it on there, and it does actually help with the damage fall-off, so she has a bit more range power now, which she lost, of course, when her Sniper 90 was
I remember the Sniper 90. Don't give me the flashbacks, man.
So, Capitao on this library window then has already got track of Willow's bandit inside. He's got Taipan out on the corridor as well to lock him out. Willow, though, darts out aggressively and catches Capitao off guard. Frenzy didn't even get to fire a shot as Willow peeked on him, and he will fall with his head taken down. Barrage now holding the window now. Willow sees another man come up the ladder. Does miss as he darts across, but moves forward aggressively again. Taipan holding the corridor has fallen as well. JX coming up to support. He was there on the staircase. Taipan tried to push in, get Willow pinched from behind, but ZX is covering that nicely. Willow a little bit more defensive now, but with these 2 kills already in the bag, Barrage have got to be very happy with the number of players they have left on the field. Looks at the wrong window, but does survive. Meanwhile, Thermite's taking JZX out down elsewhere. Willow will get 1 and 2, finishing off these pressured sides, and it's all down to Gangster in a quick succession of kills. Willow is now looking to fight this fight as well. The Bandit has been invaluable to this Barrage defense. Literally no one else near the bomb site has been stretched or touched up until this point.
Yeah, it was an excellent round from the roamers of Barrage, specifically Willow.
He sat there inside the library, was droned but held firm, aggressive at the right times, picked up each kill. Every time he fired his weapon, someone seemed to die. And yes, JZX was there on the stairs covering his back.
Not expecting this clutch from Gangsta.
No.
There it is.
Willow played that nicely. Baited him around one way, ducked around the other, dropped into his fire, and you see the first few shots did quite miss it, but quick response afterwards, and Gangsta didn't know where to look.
That was excellent, well-timed aggression from Willow. He pressured the attackers in the absolute perfect moment when they were trying to establish themselves and push their way into library. He said no. He didn't let them get the drones in. He didn't let them put up crossfires on him. He simply squirmed his way out, got the kills, and ended up getting more kills than he probably bargained for, but in the end, winning the round for his team.
Yep, coming out with 4 total in the round. JZX giving that 1 to cover himself, but
and you gotta imagine that's the first round of the match, the first round of the day even. That's gotta put you in a fantastic place mentally. Getting that 4K, you're ready to go. You're revving.
Yeah, he's very confident about how this is going to shape up. Austerity then onto defense for themselves for the first time, looking to the basement as their first port of call.
This is a little bit more abnormal, but there are teams, plenty of teams, who prefer the basement for the first defense. Now, one of the reasons I think that a lot of teams prefer to defend kitchen is while there are a lot of crossfires that can be established, they require significant amounts of teamwork, and not all teams can manage that. Whereas down here, all you really need to do, see that wall that Frenzy is opening or reinforcing right now, is you gotta open up that and then open up the little small snowmobile garage, and then you've got a perfect crossfire with that can cover pretty much the entire site and allow you to get a nice clean plant right next to. Well, you can either plant in the green bins or you can plant in the corner next to wine closet.
So Frenzy ran on upstairs with his paintball gun 416. And Reflex sight back into library himself. He is watching the top of the ladder, but Barrage are nowhere near it. Meanwhile, he's got Diju close by, hiding off in the small north doorway. And Gangster, well, he was close, but he's now checking the cameras back down inside the site. So these are the two roamers. Frenzy not being challenged, Diju just hiding close by, and also just a null factor as far as this goes. Something which is a little bit rarer here on console is the Blackbeard, especially since the nerf, so I'm told. He wasn't a particularly popular operator in the early days of him coming out, despite being very, very strong, just because there were far more body shots. It was rare that the shield would actually ever block anything here on console. And, well, Thumbs is actually using him as a very slow supportive operator. Hasn't left the spawn yet.
I'm guessing what he was expecting was for Osterity to try and defend Trophy first instead of basement, and he was probably going to position himself on the B window, but that turned out not to be the case. Now, it seems as if they're adjusting their strat a little bit here. They're going to be going for a wine cellar take, that's for sure. Pretty much everyone's set up on the north side of the building. And really, again, all they really need to do is breach that main wall, the big one next to the table, and if possible, as well, the closet. And that's going to give them a good crosshair to establish, which is pretty much going to hinge on the bomb right there. And just lay down some smokes, plant in the corner, where you can see they've made the defenders have made some holes to try and kill in case they do that. And lots of barbed wire to stop them.
Oh, Diju finally makes himself aware, and he takes Smitch down. That gets rid of their Ash. He picked up from this back corridor. Smitch was trying to flank around behind and be a surprise, and that he was. Willow, at the top of those staircase, was also cutting off Frenzy's rotate around, but despite 2 minutes of this round going through, and now Ash is dead, not a whole lot being done by either squad, really. Winegum now has got this hole in the wall opened up, and they did drone what was inside, but they haven't really done anything to shake those guys, and they're down to 45 seconds. Sprints across the gap and nothing comes his other way. Thumb still has the diffuser and is now droning around. Now Jaeger's decided to make himself aware, and Willow had moved away from covering the flank and gave himself up to it. JZX is now going to be the next man to fight, and Frenzy looking comfortably to come this way forward. Meanwhile, downstairs, Thumbs has finally picked up a frag in towards the site. Ismo then the connector, but the one behind the bomb takes his attention for half a second, and Ismo picks him up. Winegum will take Gangster out from behind the bomb site, but there's still now just 2 attackers left up. Frenzy, the flank, is taken out by Twitch, and Winegum has to pick up the diffuser and move his way in. He's shaken Ismo out of the connector itself, but now he has to start the plant. Twitch upstairs is fighting Diju's flank around, but can he stop Ismo from cancelling the plant? So he comes around and he takes out one man, doesn't quite realize where the plant was until half a second after it's finished planting.
Yes, in the end, it's not going to matter. That was a nice try from Barrage, but Osterity, they came out with an excellent site pick. A lot of teams, the majority of teams, I think it's safe to say the vast majority of teams, tend to pick Trophy on their first defense for Chalet. And because Osterity opted to defend basement, Barrage did not have a thermite with which to take from Wine or Snowmobile Garage. And that really limited them. As you saw, the only thing they could do was open up a small hole to crouch into the site, and that's dangerous. There's not a whole lot of options with that, and because of that, Osterity managed to come away with a pretty good round. But it wasn't just the counter pick. It wasn't just going to the site the least expected. It was also the roamer game from Osterity. They did some significant work up above, harassing the attackers and the flank holders, and denying them access to that drop above the site.
So far, these 2 rounds have come down to great roam play and, quite frankly, bad attacking.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Attackers did nothing to try and find these roamers, nothing to try and stop them. Yeah. The mere seconds that Willow was watching a flank and then that JZX took over never really hung around long enough to actually catch the roamers that were coming that way. And they paid the price for it. And then on the other time, when Austerity were attacking into Barrage, we saw Willow just pick up that 4K because they pushed him slowly one by a time, and he was able to take each fight he wanted on his terms.
Yeah, Willow's
win each one.
Yeah, and Willow's seemingly superior skill in that situation enabled him. Again, it's a 1v1. What are you gonna do? You're not getting traded back. You don't have to worry about anything.
They just use Pulse's C4 to destroy this cabinet. Now, destroying the cabinet is nice, but impact nades can do it.
Yeah, it was an interesting investment. You're right, but at the same time, I'm sure they're thinking to themselves, well, what else are we going to use C4 for?
Yeah.
And as we've seen on both these teams so far, neither of them have been using that Montaigne meta that we talked about with PC. It's just not happening. So I'm assuming that's just not a huge factor on Xbox so far.
That's very true.
It looks like Willow's going to try and bandit this wall to deny what we talked about, which was thermiting open on this main wall to give yourself a line of sight into, well, the site. He's even going to attempt to bandit the closet, which is pretty brave. Those panels are pretty small, so if you can just psych out the bandit in the closet, you can easily get the thermite charge down.
I heard the abandon charges going off. I wasn't sure where they were coming from, so ran away a bit. Ismo on the other side of the wall now calls out the bandits here. He knows the juggling is underway. EMP's coming down. They will take out the batteries that were planted in there. And then the wall will be blown. So Willow not hanging around too hard to properly juggle it. He did use just the one battery though. And now that he has 4 left, it obviously leaves him with a lot of extra versatility. I like this.
That was a good play by Willow.
Yeah. Not enough people realize that they can shoot those charges, or in fact any charges for that matter. There's a lot of situations where people these days have been a bit sloppy planting their charges in exposed positions, and people just opt to run away from it instead of just turn and shoot it.
It's even more impressive because he's doing it on Xbox. I've seen PC players avoid that.
Yeah. Thermite charge then didn't do it on the wall that was actually going to be batteried. Does destroy the shield in the process and gives him a slightly different angle. But meanwhile, while that's happening, JZX is flanked upstairs and taking down Frenzy. The Valkyrie was also pushed inside the small wine cellar after that was thermited, and she picked up 1 kill using her shotgun. She was then downed and revived and has now come back to play as Winegum and Taipan trade 1 for 1. Direct headshots on each other. Thumb's tucked in that corner, doesn't have a reinforced wall to protect her. We saw a lot of teams doing that yesterday. You reinforce one side and then hide on the other, and that would have kept her alive. But as it is, a good shot from Gangster up above takes her out. Willow finds that drone and finishes it off, then moves into the closet himself and gets taken out by Ismo, who was already in there waiting for him. It's now 2v1, and Smitch is the last man standing as Doc. Droned, but can't kill it. Cautious now. Smokes are coming in. Down goes the Hibana. On the other side of the wall, she sprays through from that small cabinet. He's now going to know roughly where they are. Starts spraying through it, but he's planting a little bit further forward than that. The plant will succeed before Smitch can get in there. He's now got to find where the pair of them are. Should have a good idea that they're both on the right-hand side now. But thanks to the wall being blown inside this small cellar, he's got to fight his way across the room. Prone directly on the diffuser is Thermite. Inside the small cellar is Hibana. Thermite is going to see him peek around the corner. He just misses the head. Going to expose to both at the same time. Thermite misses the kill shot though. Smith might live to fight another day. He's got to run low on time. Thermite runs into the corridor. He's now going to fight his way forward. Hibana can't kill him either. Lots of shots being whisked out, but a good peek from Ismo. While he is out of ammo and looking the wrong way, finishes Smitch off.
That was a respectable round from Osterity, a good attack. They had a lot of patience going into that, and you saw they were at a man disadvantage, and they managed to bring it back regardless. They had the patience. They forced out the angles using those drones. Denied Wine the ability, Wine the ability to sit behind that table, and really just kind of played the angles, played that crossfire, and the defenders, unfortunately, they put themselves in a position to be taken out by it. They weren't. It's not that they weren't forceful enough. It's moreover that they just kind of walked into the crossfire.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
But now we're going to be seeing a trophy defense, which is the less defended site so far in this match. Osterity, it's their second time going here. Will they have the same luck that they had on the basement? Or will they have to deal with... Well, now they'll be dealing with a actual pick or operator lineup that makes a little bit more sense for the site that they're going to be attacking. Obviously, there was the mistake, or not, rather, the psych out of not having thermites. But I'm really curious to see if Barrage is going to get mostly just get stuck on the library, which is what happened to Austerity on their first attack.
Interesting to see JZ there slapping that Jaeger 3 times.
And he just ignored it.
I mean, he did look for it after finishing his reinforcement. Like, you can get 2
Right.
zaps off in a reinforcement without the Barrage being able to do anything. Then he finished it and stopped. The Twitch drone hid. And then he came back for the 3rd one and was luckily saved by the castle. But yeah, it's not something that's that common to be seen these days because of how easy Twitch drones are to die and how fragile they are. We'll see whether those 30 points of damage, though, really come back to hurt Frenzy at any point. He is up in the library again with Dijus to hold him.
There's a lot of pressure being applied by the defenders and the attackers both, every round seemingly, to library. I imagine it's because it establishes control on the top floor, and as long as they can hold library, they can really put pressure on the attackers who are already in master. But when you're in master and you have to always be thinking about the guys across the hallways from you, it makes it really difficult to look down on the guys in the site, which is the exact reason you take master.
Willow then here on the corridor window, droned inside and finds the castle barricade and scouts a little bit of what's inside. He then also has support from Ash up on the floor with him. Oh, she actually dropped down outside, as did he, so they are thinking about giving that up. Switch, they will open the trophy room window, and I believe, yeah, Blackbeard will go over there and start looking on in. Down behind that beast bomb itself is Ismu. Does get spotted and taken out by Thumbs from behind. It's a very, very small angle, but he makes it work. Dijus, though, has finished off Wangam, taking out that Hibana in the process. Peek out front, sees his feet through JX's scope, and JX tags him, takes him down to about 50, as Thumbs finishes off Taipan back towards the site as well. So yes, there's 2 roamers in library, but if these 2 can keep them pinned in here, all they have to do is kill Gangster, and they have control of the bombs.
Kind of a misplaced investment by Austerity, but at the same time, also just peeking out on defense is costing them this round.
Frenzy tries to come out of the library and drops down to Smitch and JZX. Now Dijus is pinned in here against 2 and misses the shot onto Smitch first. Goes for a second one and does get it down, but he's lost a lot of health now. JZX has abandoned Smitch and they've just given up on trying to keep that library under control. They're going to go all in for the sites of Gangster. Thumbs comes in, JZX goes through the window but gets to get taken out. Thumbs is still alive, but Gangster didn't really know where and couldn't land the shots he needed to finish him off. There's Willow coming finally behind Gangster to take him out, and Dijus is the only man up. 2 left alive inside the site. He has a little bit of issues knifing that drone, but he will get it done as the planter goes down. And now with 5 HP to his name, has to fight against a Blackbeard and a Thatcher dug inside the B-bomb site.
A little bit of it, again, we talked about a misplaced investment by Austerity for this round. Not giving them a whole lot of options after having 2 players picked off in the B site by Blackbeard.
Drops into kitchen, shoots at a dead body as the shots come rattling in behind him. Not a single one landing, because that's all it needs to finish him off. But then Thumbs will make sure the job gets done and get Barrage back up and even on a 2-2 scoreline.
You gotta imagine on Austerity's side right now, they're thinking to themselves, okay, maybe not invest so much in library when we're going to have to deal with a Blackbeard on the B window. And I think the main issue with that defense was really just, why are we peeking Blackbeard right now?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Doc wasn't peeking Blackbeard. He just thought he was in good cover.
It wasn't,
He
wasn't fully.
Hiding behind that bomb is not good cover.
Nope.
Inside trophy at all. And
But you gotta expect them to know that at this point.
Yep.
Having made it this far, gone through all the open qualifiers, that's the sort of thing that you expect people to understand. And it's just not a safe place to sit when you're okay. So when you're seeing an attack on the B bomb site in trophy, what you expect to see when someone dies in there is they're focusing, or they've got a guy shooting at them from the window behind them. They've got a guy shooting at them from the B window, that's the Blackbeard. They've got a guy shooting at them from the kitchen window. They've got a guy underneath them throwing grenades at their feet. And yeah, okay, that's understandable. If you're going to die in that situation, you've got 4 people applying pressure, what are you going to do? But when it's just a Blackbeard standing on a window, I mean, it's easy to avoid. You stand behind a wall and you wait. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, and they lost 2 players because of it.
Yeah, but as you saw, Osterity did lose 1 player on the operated select screen, so we're going to back out. We're going to remake those before the 15 seconds, or within the rights, whatever. So we're going to run to a short commercial break and come back on the other side of it with the continued game between Osterity and Barrage. 2-2 will stay, and even though Barrage did there pick the trophy room bomb site, they're not obligated to take it on the remake. They do still have the wine cellar open as well, because they of course didn't successfully hold it, and of course they could go to the bar or master bed or any of that. So we'll see what they choose to go with after a moment of a quick break and returning with a proper game. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. 2 rounds to 2. Down into Kitchen Trophy, Barrage want to go, and they are on defense again. Austerity all hopefully back in and good to go. Last time they tried to attack this site, they didn't get past the library where Willow went huge and shut them all down. See if they figured out how to get around him this time.
I'm guessing by the fuse pick, which is, I think, sensible in this situation, they're probably going to, instead of trying to take control of library immediately, instead take control of master rather. Because you are, yes, pressured by library when you're playing in master, but you can pull it off if you just simply avoid engaging them in the hallway. Or engaging the defenders, that is, in the hallway. As long as you get those fuse charges down, apply the pressure that you want to apply to whichever site, you should be able to execute. Or you can or you can pin the guys in library and decide you try to take out the roamers, although that hasn't really worked out for them in the past.
Yeah, we'll find out. One thing we are getting here very early in the day, which we didn't see much of at all yesterday, but wanted, was Fuse.
Yep.
The new Fuse with his...
seemingly extremely powerful, and surprisingly not used all that much.
He's also running breach charges, which we talked about before being very good on this shallow map. You come in master bedroom, not only do you fuse through the floor and destroy everything in your site, but then you open it with the breach charge as well, yeah. So lots and lots of power on him if he can get that far.
Yeah, it's bringing a lot for his team, and it's like in this situation. So normally you would say we can't let our thermite get picked off before he gets to open the wall that he needs to open. Well, on this particular bomb site, it's moreover we can't let our buck or our fuse die before they open the floor or fuse the floor, because all that utility is the sort of thing that you rely on in an attack like this.
Up onto the balcony they go pretty rapidly then, start opening up doors and windows and getting inside that master bedroom. Checking for cameras outside while they do it, but droning their way through, and it actually got in here pretty quick and easy. Perhaps too quick and easy for my liking. If you're going to be playing Kitchen Trophy as Barrage, you're going to want to hold that area.
It's good to apply pressure on the
diffuser.
Yeah.
At least something. It can be. It doesn't even have to be full-fledged. Like actually put a player up there. Just some artificial, like maybe some holes in the hallway, in the little wall that faces the hallway. A little bit of spray as they come in through the window. Maybe get a lucky hit. But just letting them walk in is a little risky because they still have 2 minutes left to attack the site, and they're already fusing. And he
kills himself with a fuse charge.
Oh, no. He trades with the C4.
Trades with the C4. Even nicer. Ismo, very good shot. Gets the C4 off and survives it.
That was an excellent trade for Pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did die, but he got rid of his utility in the use of his C4, and he also got rid of all of Fuse's breach charges and fuse charges at only letting one get detonated.
Yeah, very, very good trade. And in the confusion and distraction, it has allowed JZX and Willow to slowly edge back towards the master bedroom area.
And here's that pressure we talked about from Library.
Yeah, JZX was droned out though and has to fall back a little way because Frenzy is just prone and watching the angle, ready for him to come around the corner.
This is a whole player dedicated to simply watching a flank, and that's taking a lot of time off of this attack. They're only just now...
What a shot.
Wow, that was beautiful.
That was really nice.
They're only just now starting to open up above the site and start getting themselves in a situation.
Thumbs tries to fight up through the hole onto the Jews and loses that fight to the C8 versus his Spaz 12. It's a great shotgun, but didn't do the damage he needed. Willow now has started to fight his way back into dining, but as the floor above him is in shreds, he needs to be careful of where he steps. Also, Ash just outside, jumping into Trophy now, has Smidge inside there with her, but that changes very quickly after a quick burst from the R4C. And now Willow has to fight against 4. Now, most of them are upstairs. These Jews will drop down straight into a trap. Frenzy misses the flank, and now Willow has a chance to fight him 1v1. If he can get this kill off quick, he might be okay, but no. Good cover from Taipan and from Hibana in the kitchen. Rushed him down before he could push too hard onto the Capital.
So, despite that early loss on the fuse and him not being able to get off his utility, the Buck managed to open up what was necessary by himself. The flank hold managed to flank hold, and in the end, there weren't enough players defending the site. Willow tried to get back in time, and that's the second time we've seen a team in this particular match try to rotate back into the site after the anchors lost. It just doesn't work out. We saw him 4K in the first round. I don't think he's gonna 4K. That was in 4K. I don't think he's gonna 4K again.
So, 3 rounds to 2. The lead is stretching out now a little bit for Osterity. Now they bring... Oh, did that just not break it?
I don't think it broke it.
Yeah.
Didn't quite see. There's a little bit too much smoke. We'll find out momentarily. Oh, it got
It
the
broke
back
one of the two.
I did not know that was possible.
That feels like it's still negative though.
Possible. I mean, it gives you visual cover. It means, and again, I mean, maybe some teams won't expect it. I think it might have been a mistake, but
Yeah.
regardless,
but I think they'll
they'll,
make worst of it. Yeah.
they'll probably make it work out. I'm sure.
Like they've still got the shield there, so he's still gonna have to battery
Yeah.
trick. If he does need to
10
tuck right
seconds
in
to
for
go.
safety, he can still get right in thanks to one being gone. Just
5
yeah,
seconds left
interesting.
before insertion.
They'll make it work.
Didn't know you could only do one of those.
I want to see if Taipan, because we
Attackers
saw, I
have
think it was
recovered
Willow,
their
who
diffuser.
was the guy who tried to
Locate
bandit trick
and
that,
defuse the bomb.
vandal juggle the wall, sorry, the closet wall and the main wall itself. I want to see how Taipan's going to make it work, because Willow decided to, instead of dedicating himself to that closet, he simply just walked away from it. And I want to know if Taipan's going to be able to actually force out that jungle.
We also see JZX running the fuse now, and it's still usable when attacking the wine cellar because you can go into the fireplace and you can get down into connector and you can get down into the A site, but that's a very exposed place to plant fuses, and while you've got these two roamers upstairs, that is incredibly risky.
And it's not as if they don't know those roamers exist. We've been seeing 2 roamers in library for the majority of this match on both teams.
And I'm pretty sure Thumbs' drone has just at the very least spotted Deju's here, and now
Obviously,
spots
yeah.
Frenzy too, so they guarantee know it's there. So Fuse can't do his fusing into the A site. There's nowhere for him really to fuse into B site from here unless the trapdoor's unreinforced.
And it's the same reason that
which
the
it's not.
trapdoor in lobby itself is
located
never
by
used,
attackers.
because if there's one roamer, it's so easy for him to apply the pressure necessary to kill these people. And here he is.
Yep, here is that Jaeger looking straight down in towards the doorway. He's going to see the feet if he's looking at the right angle. Looking down through, Winegum looking to come through that sandwich bush now. They're just keeping him pinned. This is now meaning this fuse is completely irrelevant. They are coming downstairs towards the back. The barbed wire are going to get taken out. The EMP is going to go off to take out the pre-placed batteries and the ones around the side. And now we're right on board with Taipan. Doesn't sit down. He's already lost 3 of his 4 batteries. Plants that one down and it's too late. They've already been triggered, so they're already going to blow. And these holes being made by Hibana are unstoppable. Upstairs, Frenzy is fighting with JZX a little bit. He has gone low and is pushing him, keeping him out of the wine cellar. Taipan peeks out the holes Wine Gun made and takes him out himself. Dejuz will now head on down.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Frenzy's just holding these guys out back, holding them in dining. Ash is around here too. Smitchy checking in case he doesn't come upstairs. But Thumbs is starting to pressure onto the site down with Willow. Willow takes Taipan out. Thumbs is now looking to push forward, but as he does so, he exposes himself to Dejuz, who's crossed into connector. It's a good kill for him, and Willow is now alone inside the site. Takes down Ismo, looks towards the connecting hole where they are going to push Gangster, but Dejuz forces him to fall back a little bit further. The roamers upstairs are pressuring onto the fuse and onto the Ash. Dejuz inside the connector is completely exposed to Willow, but the good prone puts him hidden behind the boxes and gives him a kill onto Gangster, and then safely back behind the bomb. Fuse still alive upstairs with Ash in tow. The 2 roamers have to come down. Dejuz gets another one, and Frenzy will get Smitch on his way. Dejuz with a perfect rotate and another 3 kills. Takes out the final one onto JZX down in the back of the wine cellar.
That was a beautiful round from Dejuz, but you have to give credit to the roamers of Austerity. Oh, I think actually Dejuz was one of those earlier in the round.
He was, yeah.
So you have to give credit to Dejuz even more so. But you also have to give credit to Frenzy, who was roaming with him. They denied Fuse access to the lobby, which was, in the end, that was the plan on Barrage. They were trying to get Fuse to be able to lay down those Fuse charges above them and force them out of the site. And because they couldn't get that done, they didn't have enough force to push their way into the site without, and kind of they walked into a lane, which allowed Dejuz to just kind of shoot down one line and kill all of them. I mean, credit is due. Dejuz had a great round and great aiming, but also he was just shooting in one line, and it was kind of the fault of the attackers for just letting themselves get in that, forced into that position.
Yeah, and as a result, it puts Osterity onto match point now. They are 1 round away, 1 attacking round away from going 1-0 up as we head across towards our second map. So Barrage holding on now for dear life with this round. Do have the defense hold. They do have a very similar, previously successful setup to do it with.
I want to see from Austerity if they're going to be able to. They've done it before. On the last trophy attack, they did manage to pull off an excellent job dealing with the roamers. And again, throughout this entire match, the majority of defenses won have been due to the roamers. I wanted to see if Austerity is going to be able to handle it the same way they did last time, or if they're going to get taken out by this nice pixel peak.
Yeah, J6 obviously fell down to this peak last time, but now he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive and not let them inside the master bedroom as fast. However, I'm not sure if he's going to actually get it done. They are in, and he's not anywhere near close enough to the window itself. The question is, though, will his team start to die from the holes they're about to make in the floor? Because that was another big problem they had last time. They tried to fight down through. They tried to fight back up through the holes that Buck was making, and they lost those fights. So, we'll see. Onside the kitchen window, Ismo is looking down, then let's try and find Weingum. Looking close on the right-hand side, it's a risky peek. Ismo not going to get him now as Weingum is up on the fridge. Up and above, the trapdoor has been opened by Gangster, and now the Pulse is in a sticky position. Dejus making these holes down towards the lower staircase. The Pulse C4 has gone off now inside the corridor and didn't touch anyone, so Osterity are feeling a lot safer upstairs now. Back down through the hole the C4 has made. It's given him a nice angle into the corridor, and it's going to work against Barrage if they're not careful. Meanwhile, the roamers have sent Willow downstairs, out the front to take Ismo off that kitchen window. Thermite gone and diffuser dropped is big. JZX is still covering this upstairs corridor, holding the very tight angles. He doesn't want to die to Frenzy again, but thumbs this time. C4 will be successful and take down the Buck. 2 attackers down. Barrage are going to be happy with this. Frenzy and Gangster still upstairs in the master bedroom. Scared to leave through the front door because this would happen. JZX using that hole in the wall gets a good kill. Frenzy now outside with Taipon, leaping inside to the trophy room. Easily swept up by Smitch as they both try and leap through the same window. Barrage with a comfortable round now.
Yeah, and Austerity, unfortunately their attack stalled out a little bit. They didn't have the same wherewithal to deal with those roamers. The roamers got a little bit more aggressive, not letting themselves be ignored unlike last time. And because of that, there was not enough pressure to apply to the site, and they got cordoned off and backed out of their attack, and there wasn't really any options in the end there. They decided, okay, well, we're gonna lose this round. We may as well go for a Hail Mary and jump in the view window. And now we're looking at 4-3, still in favor of Austerity. If they can manage to pull off this win on the kitchen trophy site, they'll be in good shape, 1-0 on the maps. And they have had pretty decent luck defending trophies. And again, the majority of these rounds on defense have come down to the roamers. So it's going to be up to the roamers to keep applying that pressure from Library. We've been seeing that from both teams. And if that continues to work, they should be moving on to the second map.
So, we'll see how well they can hold. They have done it well in the past. They've had solid ideas for it.
10 seconds to go.
It's all very different when doing it live.
We'll be reinforcing the library, so you're going to probably expect to see 2 roamers up here play their dynamic game. Now, I'm curious to see if Austerity is going to take what Barrage just did to them, that that crazy level of aggression from the roamers in library. They realized, okay, the attackers are coming from Master and pretty much just Master. That's their plan. So we don't really need to do anything in library. We need to hold it to deny them access from the windows. Let's try and run out and apply some pressure from the front lawn. And it worked out for them. It worked out for them incredibly well. So I'm curious if Austerity is going to take that, interpret that, and use it themselves. Or if they're going to play the passive game and try to force out this last round the slow way.
Well, it's time to find out as we are already 50 seconds into this round. Smitch has opened up the master bedroom and got himself inside nice and quick, but is now back on out. Thumbs has finished his droning, is now making his way forward. It's time to see.
You can see him.
Top of his head, but he's not quite ready for the peak. Does take a couple of shots to the shield though. He's going to be okay and happy with that. Ismo this time staying in a bit of a better cover, but now he's going to stick his head around the corner and regret it. Thankfully he's Doc, so he'll heal that health back up. But it's health he didn't need to lose if he just kept his head in. He also only has 1 health stimulant left.
In that situation last time though, Austerity managed to get 2 picks, so it's going better so far.
Yeah, Wangam then journeying around on the top floor at the moment. JZX looking for Frenzy, nearly takes his head, obviously drops through the trapdoor. Frenzy is low but alive and downstairs now. Willow using the trapdoor in master bedroom to try and fire into the corridor, and look what's coming for him. But right now he's not touching anyone. Thumbs is starting to take a bit of damage from his Munao, who's still in the trophy room and peeking out. Frenzy going down the staircase, has got Winegum up top, sees him but misses the initial shots. Winegum ran away and kept himself safe. Frenzy cautious of the lower back alleyway. JX is in there. Frenzy is being herded, but not very aggressively herded. He's got a lot of time here that he's wasting and burning. 50 seconds still to go. And he is just chasing them around the map and letting them run around.
Frenzy is playing this incredibly well. Only 40 seconds left, and the attackers have yet to apply any serious pressure to the site.
Thumbs is still outside the window, then firing in towards Doc. Still can't kill him. Taipan will pick up the first kill of the round onto Willow. Dijus then gets JZX and takes the second guy down for the attacking team. One more round here and we'll be heading to overtime, and it's only 3 kills that they require. Barrage, though, lose their first player. Sorry, get their first kill onto Ismu. Thumbs is looking to head his way in, but Taipan has replaced that Doc inside the trophy room. 15 seconds and Blackbeard has to come in. Taipan's just keeping his head in. It's a smart play. He doesn't need to move. Dijus is taking out Winegum. Gangster in kitchen is the focus for Blackbeard, but Taipan peeks it. And we will head to our next map.
GG, Austerity. And again, a round wonderfully done by Dijus and Bandit on that roaming game. Applied the pressure where it was needed and didn't let the attackers situate themselves.
So, 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Austerity on Chalet. We're now going to head over to Canal as map number 2 and see whether Barrage can level this out or bring it back through. Austerity, as I say, they were the new kids on the block. Barrage has been around the pro scene. These names are recognizable. There's a lot of familiar faces. Austerity coming through the open qualifiers, coming through the open sign-ups for these qualifiers to Montreal. Showing themselves here for the first time.
This is their first time really doing anything of significance. And
making their mark.
They're proving themselves here, definitely, yeah. And it was a very similar game played by both teams. It just so happened Osiris got a little bit lucky with their attacks and their defenses, and their roaming game was a little bit more passive, I thought, but it still worked out for them in the end. I feel like it paid off dividends, the fact that having that control of library for both teams ended up winning them trophy defense every time. Like if every trophy defense that was won was because there were 2 players in library who could apply pressure to anywhere on the map, whether it be the players in master or the players outside the B window by running outside in the front door.
So we are just going to run to another quick break. Thanks to the remake, have to rehost the lobby and whatnot. We'll be back in just a moment with our second map between Barrage and Austerity. It is going to be Canal. Don't go anywhere. Apparently we weren't. There we go. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. Just waiting on one last player to join the lobby, and then we are underway with Canal. As it is, Austerity are one map up here against Barrage in our first game on the mainstream. Our second game, the off-stream game that's currently taking place, is also currently underway. We'll give you results for that as soon as we can get them. And of course, the winner from that will be playing the winner from this right here on the mainstream straight away afterwards. So, lots to play for and lots to keep track of. Austerity, though, kind of impressive so far. We can look at some of the highlights of that last map while we do, and we'll talk about, of course, the way they've been playing it out.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was pretty impressive from Osterity. They played the same game that Barrage was playing in pretty much the same way overall, and they just came out on top. Again, we talked about they're a pretty new team. This is their first real showing besides the open qualifiers. So the fact that they were able to do this to a team like Barrage, which has been around for a pretty long time, is even more so impressive.
Yep, and just with that, we have our last player in. So Canal is underway. It is our map number 2. Austerity are 1-0 up, and they are closer to Montreal by the second. Let's see if they can continue that dominant form on this second map, or if Barrage are kind of going to come and fight back and force them onto that third map. Skyscraper. Yeah.
We saw a lot of Skyscraper yesterday on the NAPC. It was one of the more played maps. It was actually kind of surprising to see so much of it. And, you know, it wasn't picked up.
So I wasn't too surprised to see Astral do it, not going to lie. They were one of the first teams to pick out Favela in the last season when they could give it a run, give that a whirl. And they did it against Era, too. They did it against, at the time, what was Orbit with a certain player on it. So when they pulled out Favela.
Back in my day.
Yeah. But, yeah, it also went just about as well for them as picking Favela did, to be
right, yeah. And here, another Fuse pick on Canal. Now, this is really interesting because on first defense, almost every team in the game, when it comes to Canal, they're picking server room. Where is that Fuse going to make use? Are you going to put it on the north windows? Are you going to try and rappel up to the window outside of monitors? If not a window, where? You know, what possible use could that have?
But I don't know, the dangers of being on a window that you and I equate with repelling
you know what it's gonna
aren't
be?
as serious here.
Yeah, well, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be there. He's gonna put his fuse charges on the castle because everybody always castles that those windows along the west wall and the server side, almost every round. Nope, I guess maybe not this castle.
He has done it at the back here, but you can't
fuse that, yeah.
You can fuse this one. Oh, he's done all three there.
Okay, yeah, they're all there. So that's probably where the Fuse is aiming to put his charges. That's actually really good.
This guy, no, he's running back. They need to kill. There's no one in red.
Most teams, what'll happen is their first priority will be to clear out red, establish a flank holder in red, looking at the skyscraper so that somebody can't kill the guy rappelling on those windows by going to Skyscraper, and then go for those few charges. But we'll see how they execute.
So he has spawned over this side. We'll be heading towards those windows in a bit. JZX is already inside, but Frenzy's at the back of the kitchen. Frenzy tries to move out, but will drop down. Dejuz is going to go and try and revive him. The shock drone is coming in. I feel like the Jaws theme tune is needed here as he is edging forwards closer to the downed player, but he gets shot as soon as he heads through the doorway. Dejuz now still not ready for the revive. Being chased away by a couple more drones, so then if Frenzy is still down, just give JZX a little bit of time to just gather his things. Tries to spray through the wall at Frenzy. He does catch the right spot, but a few too many walls in the way as Taipan comes down the staircase and takes out Willow. So the attackers need to cool it a little bit, trying to chase out these two roamers downstairs. Winegum has been upstairs and currently hasn't planted a single fuse charge, because he's trying to find these roamers downstairs. Gangster finishes off JZX, and now the fuse charge is going to come back from Winegum, but the shot is coming through from Dejuz, and he kills it before it even goes off. Not a single bit of damage on Winegum, though. Smidge outside the map room door with Thumbs on the other roof means that these roamers now have a lot of freedom left inside. And they got the revive off through the floor using Doc onto the Jaeger.
And I think the problem here is that Barrage is unfortunately stalled out on this attack. Obviously it's 2-5 now, so the hopes are pretty much gone. But anything is possible. This fuse charge might get a couple kills.
See as it heads on inside. It is blowing up deep within the A site and cleans a few people out of the spots they were hiding in, but doesn't actually do any damage to them. Taipan now right out here by the bricks on the box. It's close to Thumbs and the diffuser, and if he peeks out and gets that kill, it would probably end the round where we are. but it is a very risky play. Ismo at the back of the A site, hiding and fighting. Keeps Thumbs' attention for a little bit before Thumbs will then switch things up again and look towards that hole in the wall. More fuse charges going off and just making people run around a little bit, but not actually dealing any serious damage or killing anyone off. More punching from the other side, scaring people out. Ismo gets wine gum through the smoke from the back of the decks as he runs across, and then Taipan pulls down that door. Shots from Osprey coming out the front door. Taipan is waiting to run out. Thumbs is prone and watching for him. 20 seconds on the clock. Now Taipan comes. Thumbs will take him out, but is he expecting the second one? I don't think he is. Second one changed his mind after Taipan fell down so quickly. Frenzy's going to come out from behind instead.
10 seconds remaining.
10 seconds, and Thumbs is just looking for consolation prize kills here. Very disciplined play from Osterity. After losing Taipan, everyone's staying in. Then Frenzy peeks out when they see him on the bridge, and they secure round number 1.
So clearly Barrage's plan on that particular attack was to try and take the second floor and move their way up from there. But unfortunately that didn't work out for them. They got caught up on one particular down, and when they couldn't secure that kill, their attack entirely stalled out. They had somebody try to rush in to secure the kill, got killed by Bandit playing on the stairs, and they got locked out basically from the second floor. There were too many defenders there to deny them that access. And they didn't also keep control of red. Unfortunately, when you're trying to fuse on those windows, you have to maintain control of red so that nobody can come up from behind, break the soccer room windows per se, or the skybridge windows, or even like we saw at the end there, come out the front door, pressure from that window, or straight outside. And yeah, because of that, too much pressure from behind, lost the round.
So, time for Barrage to head upstairs. Winegum reinforcing between these walls is an interesting one.
Some teams like to reinforce it, some teams like to leave it open. It all depends on how much faith you, really depends on how much faith you have on the guy who's playing in B. If you believe that your player in B is going to have a fine time of it because he knows what he's doing and he can manage it by himself, typically I'd say leave that wall reinforced. If you also don't, it also comes down to whether or not he likes to use the wall to pressure stairs, because as we all know, that wall is really easily used by the guy sitting behind the server to shoot onto players advancing up the stairs.
Mitch is also holding one castle barricade still. I thought it was going to go onto this window right here, but he is choosing not to.
He didn't put it on that window because he figures there might be a fuse pick. I mean, obviously think like your own strats, but there is not, in fact, a fuse pick. There will be a glass pick, which is interesting. Glaz obviously recently got a rate of fire and I think a damage buff, so he's a little bit more powerful than he used to be, but we haven't really seen him at all in the professional scene.
No, but we're about to see what it's like here for Gangster on Xbox.
I mean, OS is the new team. Maybe they're trying to set the new meta.
Yeah. Cracking open some windows into maps will help try and control it from here, but Taipan picked off the first kill onto Willow outside security on their way towards maps. Not sure about using an Ash Charge on that breach, or on that barbed wire rally. He's going to drone past him and decide it's safer to punch it. They've got the idea that it's clear on the other side, and he can get that for free. Edges forward. He's got JZX taking Frenzy out on the stairs, but Gangster will finish JZX there. He stepped up inside maps to get that kill onto the staircase, and Gangster will take his head off from the other building. Good trade kill from all the way over there. And it means Taipan can sit safely here and keep an eye on the kitchen door instead. Dejuz is droning the kitchen itself, so he'll give it all clear onto that room very shortly, and the focus from Austerity can start heading upstairs.
Not only did Osterity take control and hold control of red, but they also utilized it with that glass pick. And despite their strat being very similar to Barrage, this time it was executed in a way that put them in the man advantage.
So Dejuz repels up from the outside. Ismo has got a charge on the wall, but doesn't want to blow it just yet. Not entirely sure why. There's nothing to stop it. There's no mute or anything. They're just waiting for that player to waiting for that sledge to get on the back window. So as it gets opened up, he'll start to sledge the windows open, and that's keeping the players on the back desks downed and pinned. Finds the Valve camera and spots him out. The sledge is there repelling, and don't forget there's a Glaz on the other building. But Smitch helps to level the numbers out by taking Glaz out, the UMP-45, beating out the Glaz rifle over that distance. Yeah, very impressive indeed. Dejuz now repelling, ooh, pixels above the crosshairs of that prone player down the back of the monitors. As he now dancing left and right across that same window. The shots are rattling in through the wall onto Smitch, but as he does so, he gives Wangum a chance to stand up and take Dijus out. Wangum, though, is now low and alone on the back desk, but it's only Thermite left to find, and he gets a great shot in towards the box onto Ismo to seal the round and hold it out for Barrage. Very disciplined play from Wangum.
Very disciplined play from Barrage in general. That was a really well played round by those last 3 players. What was a significant advantage for Austerity, having taken control of the first floor and then taking control of box, forced their way in through the windows. They had everything, all the cards in their favor, and they just lost those gunfights in the end.
So, back on to attack go Barrage, and now if they're getting better at those gunfights, maybe they can win it, because that's where they lost this last round, right? They downed the Jaeger,
right?
Then couldn't finish him off, and every attempt they had to go and finish him and to take control of the maps, they just lost each fight they came across. So they need to step that up and make sure they can land those headshots. They got to win those.
I want to see Fuse be used successfully. They are going to be defending downstairs now, so because obviously only defense is going so far, both server, and that means I'm guessing here that what they're going to try and do is take control of upstairs, take control of server as if you would in a normal attack on server, and then Fuse on down into maps. That's where I see Fuse being a little bit more useful. He's definitely better on this attack rather than the server attack. Because the windows, yes, they exist and they will be castled. It's also very risky.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, as I say, taking control of the floor above and fusing down, it's far safer.
5 seconds left.
JZX then outside on Capital now. Thumbs is on his Thermite, keeping his drone in the red brick building and checking that's clear instead. Upstairs on the white, Dijus is actually up here and ready. He's going to go out for a very aggressive spawn peek. Finds Smith and gets the kill. Nice shot, and he gets back without taking a single point of damage. Austerity bringing some of that new aggressive meta to the table. Oh, but being punished for it. JZ, beautiful timing, great shot. Takes that pulse out as he sprints back across to the other building.
That was honestly an even trade for both teams. Ash brings a lot of utility, Pulse also a lot of utility. But I'd say it was probably in the favor of the attackers. Getting rid of that Pulse when you're trying to fuse down into the site is huge. That means you're not dealing with a C4 coming up from underneath when you're taking the time to stop and plant your fuse charges.
Yeah, but also getting control of this top floor without Ash's speed might prove challenging here for the attacking team. So we'll see how they work with it. Frenzy's still up there and Taipan's still on the staircase. They do start to work their way towards servers on the push on this floor. It's pre-firing a lot of the common spots while opening the windows. Taipan is that one of them, and he's gone now. JZ with a great shot onto the top of his head as Frenzy has rotated inside server itself. He's looking for Willow off towards the L balcony. Up he goes. If he looks to his left, JZ is in that window, but he can't see him right now because he's on the other side of that TV. Willow is droning around the rest of the floor. Winegum also coming very close over towards the actual control desk side of this floor. They're going to start pincering in on Frenzy very, very soon as he cannot kill off any of these drones. Dave rattles in and tags in, but nothing too serious. JZ still throws out the second one, goes way up and over the top of Frenzy, who moves forward into a more unpredictable position on top of the trapdoor.
He's got to be careful. He's only got 12 bullets. He's got to deal with 4 players.
He needs to reload. Thumbs has broken his way in. Willow comes into the corridor and will be taken out. It's a good kill. Thumbs is now at the back of the desks in the other room. JZ has leapt in and the pre-fire comes around. JZ goes low but will get the kill. And they still have their fuse alive on this floor above. 2 defenders left below. Let's see where the fuse charges go and what kind of damage they get done. Inside kitchen then is where he chooses to plant the first one. And it's going to go right into this connector room. First 2 get stopped and then they will blow, but no one's in there anymore. So not a whole lot of damage. Now up into connector on the top floor. Down right into the middle of the map he goes. Fuse charges don't do much of a favorable bounce for him. Blocks off the front side of the site. He has the third one, but he's not going to use it. Sorry, he's already used the third one somewhere. Didn't see that get popped off, but it also didn't touch a soul. 20 seconds then, and smoke charges are still here for Austerity.
15.
Focusing on the A site. Ismo can still hide in that corner behind the breach.
10 seconds to go.
Smoke charges aren't being used yet, but in they come. They saw him in the pre-fires there from JZ. Gangster though takes JZ down. Gangster now has to find Thumbs, or at least stop him from planting. Thumbs has got to hold it now. Wangum comes in, and it's a great shot through the smoke, and I think hip fire to take Gangster down while prone on the floor.
Winegum said, I see your smoke and I raise you a couple of bullets.
not quite, but very close. And either way, split seconds from the round ending, Thermite got that plant to go through, and then using the extra little bit of time you're granted while the plant is being channeled, Fuse gets the kill onto Gat.
It was a good attack from Barrage, but a little close. Not a definitive win. I feel like Austerity managed to stall it out a good amount of time, even though they got picked off early. 2 of their roamers got picked off early, 1 on the stairs, 1 in red. The Jaeger upstairs still managed to trade himself out at least and waste a good, I think, a minute 30 in of himself, which is impressive.
So
Attackers need to locate
2 rounds
and
to
defuse
1 then
bombs.
for Barrage. Austerity on to attack. Attacking that same room themselves. Rather than going in the Fuse, they're bringing themselves a Buck, who can be as much of a threat from above down as Fuse possibly could, but there's a little bit less RNG involved to how he gets his job done.
Yeah, more determined by the player's skill, and I'd say it's more in control of the team. If you're investing a lot of players and taking upstairs and you happen to not lose most of them in the process, then I feel like Buck can be a little bit more useful, especially with those grenades. You can accomplish pretty much the same thing with Buck that you could with Fuse. The only difference is, I suppose, yeah, like you said, the RNG factor. And Fuse kind of covers a little bit of a wider area.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
So Barrage running a very similar set of operators as what they did even on the last map on Chalet as well. So leaving that JZX Jaeger and just you didn't quite see it, and Willow's Bandit upper towards the top floor. Willow still being very, very mobile, of course, was a big impact in the early rounds of the last map.
Yeah, we saw Willow do some significant things roaming by himself. He's going to be trying to bandit this box. I don't think he's going to dedicate himself to it, just rather put down the charges so that waste a little bit of the time and utility of the attacking team.
Drone activated.
And he's moved all the way down to the basement stairs here. An interesting roam by Willow. I assume he's trying to keep the stairs in general. They are the only way for the attackers to go upstairs, sorry, the defenders rather, to go upstairs. So it's
That's a very nice angle that he was looking towards the Capitao, but he is distracted by hearing Dejus underneath, using that Buck to actually go from the bottom up rather than the top down. So a nice way for Austerity to, something Fuse can't do, and it's a nice way for Austerity to mix things up. Don't have to worry about wasting time getting control of the top floor. Don't have to worry about the fight you might have to take up there. You can leave the players on the top floor alone and just do all the damage from below.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
That grenade did not get the barbed wire somehow.
No, it didn't touch the drone either. Winegum, though, is downed inside and is finished off by Frenzy, but JZX will finish off his move from upstairs. Taipan fights Willow as he tries to come up the staircase and trade onto Frenzy, and Taipan wins that fight. Lots of health missing from Austerity, but JZX now is up on the floor above with a hole down towards this doorway. Anyone coming through, he's going to see them and he needs to kill them to really make an impact on this round. Taipan droning forward, Gangster's on the kitchen window, and Frenzy's thinking about the door, and he wants to come in. He's going to throw the grenade straight on in. It's going to bounce to the back of the room and force Smitch down and out. Then he gets shot by Dejus from below. Great grenade to push him into that site. And it leaves just 2 defenders left up. One of them is Thumbs with a shotgun, and the length of the kitchen might make it a challenge. JZX can't stop Ash getting in. She's in. Can't stop the second one in either. That's Gangster with the diffuser, but the kill will come afterwards to stop the plant. 40 seconds on the clock though, and there's still enough time to pick up a second diffuser and give it another go. Dejus out by the door now, is no longer underneath, but he's spraying at the floor, but it's a beautiful angle here from JZ that actually keeps him covered. Frenzy is watching the push the other way. Dejus' his grenade, tries to go for JZ, but takes out Taipan. JZ now can't find him because he's on top of the table with the plant. He's going to give it a hold. Thumbs is in the room next door, but with his shotgun can't come and help. And Ismu's Claymore upstairs takes JZ out. Thumbs with his shotgun now has to find 2, and they can run off, get outside, and have quite a bit of range to play with. Onto the window goes Dejus. Frenzy's out in the open corridor. Thumbs needs to pick something and make a move for it. Upside down on that window is the Buck. He does spot him. The fireball comes to the door. Now they know exactly where he's going to be coming from. Dejus goes to hide deep in on the window and looks straight towards the diffuser. Thumbs is going to jump on out, does find the Buck, takes him down. Can he get Frenzy at the top of the stairs? He finds him and looks for him but can't get the kill. Frenzy making the smart play and just running as far away as he can. Only 1 shell left in this shotgun, and Frenzy played it beautifully to seal the round and keep Austerity at a level pegging.
That was at the beginning, an impressive round from Osterity. They managed to get the picks. They were playing it right. They had control of underneath and the floor that they were, you know, the hallway on the floor that they were trying to attack. They didn't go for above, which is what you would expect to see when you're attacking, when a team is attacking maps. Take control of above, work your way down, which meant that Jaeger was allowed to stall out their attack. But in the end, it didn't matter. A little bit of a, to me, I feel like the round started getting a little scary when they got that team kill grenade, and it put the player count at 3-2, and still in favor of Osterity, but it was a lot closer than it needed to be.
So, Osterity back to the top floor then to hold. Still bringing a fuse, our Barrage. Let's see if they can use him to any better effect this time, or more to the point, if they can actually get in to the floor below. They had a real issue taking control of the map room before. They've lost a lot of their players and kind of lost the round from about the 2-minute mark, just because of dealing with those roamers downstairs so poorly.
Now I'm guessing the reason they're taking control of below is because they're trying to move their way in through box to get their plant there. And if it just so happens the defenders have anyone underneath, they can easily C4 anyone trying to enter through box. Also, I assume it's because they're trying to fuse onto the west windows there, and they want to keep control of that sky bridge. Otherwise, any random defender can just walk onto the sky bridge, immediately the window once, and shoot anyone on the west windows.
So they're running 3 players downstairs this time. Juge, Frenzy, and it's not, but he's bugged out for a moment. He's on the staircase, obviously.
Juge and Frenzy is that duo combo roaming team that have been doing a lot of work throughout the, especially through the first match. But it is 2-2 on Canal. It's anyone's match still. Both these teams seem to have a good idea of what they're doing. I want to see, personally, I want to see Fuse be a little bit more useful. If you're going to actually pick him, you know, you got to accomplish. It is a true accomplishment to actually get to use his utility, and to have it work as well.
First one's going off. It's right on the window by Frenzy, and it takes him down as he tries to sprint out of the range of that explosion. No rook armor means it kills him straight out too. Now on the back of Server, he's going to pop another one. Will it bounce far enough for Gangster? Gangster is long running out of there, so no chance of that. And the corridor. Next one, where's he going to go? Is he going to put it on the same back end? Right now he's just punching it open and having a look in there. Gangster may be able to challenge him for it. Meanwhile, downstairs, the rest of his team are slowly closing in on the remaining roamer of Dejuge inside kitchen. Wingum goes to repel inside kitchen. So actually, Dejuge has gone right down. He's down in the garage underneath.
I don't think they're aware.
No, I think the castle has snuck his way right below them all. It could come up to surprise them later on.
Bomb located by attackers.
Barrage still trying to get their way into box as well, but Bandit's being pretty successful in his tricking here. A good cancel from Thumbs is going to save his charge. He still has 2, so not huge risk. It's not a huge risk for him here, but he needs to get this box open. Bandit's not going to let him. This is where a grenade from underneath in box, or an Ash charge coming all the way from Barrage, or even just underneath.
From there, we'll get it done.
Yep.
And Winegum dropped down to garage, found that castle that was hiding in there, so his surprise is gone, and the last fuse charge is going to go on the back desks. Will the RNG work in their favor? Is his move going to get down? Not at all. He just shrugs it all off and continues to hide at the back of the room. Taipan now pinned right underneath this window. Winegum could, if they drone him right, get him straight off that window frame. 50 seconds, he finds Gangster in the connector instead. Taipan still pinned within here. Doc at the back of the room. JZX is going to push forward, take him out, but then taken out by Taipan. Thumbs comes in. Taipan takes him down.
Right
Winegum's looking the wrong way. He doesn't know which one to look at, and he just about gets the kill on the half-second end.
Talk about close rounds. That was scary from Winegum, looking towards the monitor player, whereas it was just a Bandit left alive, prone behind the window, right next to him. And now we're going into the next round. It is 3-2 in favor of Barrage. A close match, to say the least, and really back and forth. No one team is taking it, no one side is taking it. Neither defense nor attack, nor Barrage, nor Osterity. We'll see if Barrage will manage to start to pull away here from Austerity and take their first map on this defense.
So
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
small lead is once again working out for Barrage. So far, each team has just been keeping this level pegging. Austerity got their glass back now as they're attacking this top floor once more.
It worked out for them last time.
It did very well.
But last time they were also attacking the maps. They were attacking maps. There's the second floor, sorry, rather, yeah, 0 floor, first floor, whichever. And they haven't had it used on this particular attack yet. Assuming it's probably going to be even more useful, what with there being way more windows.
10 seconds remaining.
So Smitch finishes up his
5
last
seconds
couple of
to
castle barricades, does use all 3 this time instead of finishing early.
I'm assuming that's because they saw that Austerity does not bring a fuse to the party. They didn't want to risk it on the first round, better to know, right? And since they know that they don't, there's no risk anymore.
Gangster is still out on that fast spawn, droning at the moment. Winegum is looking for maybe an early peek on him when he comes around.
No
See
longer
if he
early.
has patient enough, yeah, see if he has the patience for the droning to end though. Which right now he does not appear he does. He's looking up towards the top of the bridge as well. Gangster's finally moving. But we'll go the safer route. Taipan coming across the red bridge now has Willow close by. Ismo's drone will have just spotted him running clear. But this time it's not so safe for him to take this out with a punch, so he will have to use an Ash charge on it. On the stairs is Willow. JZX is inside the map room, so he's going to get a bit of information from this himself, because this is a beautiful, beautiful angle here to find that Ash on her way across the corridor.
The one dilemma with this angle is those little metal bars. It's sometimes difficult to hit a shot through those. But obviously he's thought of that. We'll see if he can make it. He has been droned out, so I doubt he's going to be able to use that angle anymore. I don't think Ash is going to push in knowing that hole is there.
Looks like go back into the maps, but Gangster's on that other roof again, or was until Pulse had anything to do with it. Winegum with another great shot from the back desk takes him down and out. The glass is a null factor this time.
That's the second time that glass has been beaten by a UMP from the other building.
Yeah. Taipan snuck inside while JZX was rotating around and finds him on the way back. But Willow will trade Dejuge, who was not paying attention to the staircase, too focused on that Jaeger. Down himself is Moon. Duck up there, they find and bait Willow forward with a battery. Doesn't get the kill! But they do get the wall open with the thermite charge. 4v3 still, but a very, very low health bandit now on the staircase, and Taipan is going to go hunt for him. He's holding tight angles, but 59 seconds to go. He's going to have to be the one to start making a move, sure enough, soon. There's also a shotgun waiting at the top of the stairs, which had a camera down there watching her, I believe. Frenzy's drone is now going to come up and lead the way and see what's waiting for him. Calls Willow's exact position, and Willow will sprint clean out of there straight away afterwards. Taipan has repelled up the side windows instead now. He's going to have to fight Smith, who's inside the back. Capital Smoke's coming in. Shotgun's there with Willow's bandit. The plant is going through. Ismo, though, is on a safer side of the plant box. They are not going to see him until Willow tries to push all the way forward. C4 from Winegum will get the job done. Thumbs with a shotgun takes out Taipan on the windows, and Smitch with the final kill finishes Frenzy off right from the back of the room.
Solid defense from Barrage there. Denying the roamers, or sorry, rather denying the access to, again, the first floor, not letting the attackers set up underneath that box until the very last second, and they did eventually get control, but they lost too many players in the process and wasted way too much time. And here we're going to see another fuse play coming from Barrage. It did work out incredibly well for them on that last attack. But this time it's going to be on to server. Or, it's the same actually attack.
Yeah, same attack. They did use the fuse charge onto the maps room below to get the kill with it, but the attack is going to go against the bomb sites on the top floor. As Osterity are holding on now for dear life. Remember, if Barrage win this map, we will go to Skyscraper as our third and final decider. Because Osterity won Chalet first, and now Barrage are on the verge of winning here on Canal. 5 rounds to 2, it would be the score, but it was 5 rounds to 3 that Osterity won Chalet. We'll see whether we can match that scoreline here as the final few preparations are put in place for this Osterity defense. Now, last time we did see some slightly aggressive play out of the spawn from Barrage.
5 seconds to go.
Is Moose thinking about it, but I think he's changing his mind after just looking for some drones and heading
Attackers
back
will cover
across.
the diffuser.
He's trying to give them the
Attackers must
idea
locate
that he
and
would do
defuse the
something,
bomb.
so you don't take.
Taipan hides and tucked away in the corner after they scouted through, made sure the drones were killed off, go to the dock over there and then ran the dock away. So they saw the dock come back, they saw the dock leave and they went, okay, it's clear. Means they might neglect the fact that, neglect the fact that Taipan's in here, and it worked perfectly. He takes down Smitch very quickly and then gets back to safety in the Coast Guard office. No one else was even close to this building. They didn't have anyone there to trade it, they just let him get away with it. Back across then towards Control now. We have Fuse over by Kitchen. JZX is grenading up through the floor to the back of the B site. Doesn't really work out properly, and they did not quite aim right or timed right. So he has to shoot his way in there instead, but there's no one there to shoot at. Gangster is sitting in that room, but he's on his drone and in on top of the front L window.
Looks like they're trying to apply pressure to B here.
There goes your Fuse. Ismu just takes him straight down. He hasn't had a chance to plant any Fuse charges on the north windows because Doc was there firing out from the back desk. He shuts him down when he's mid-plant, so the Fuse is once again a null factor. This is why we weren't surprised not to see him yesterday. These kind of opportunities to plant Fuse charges come at a huge price.
Yep. And the cover that should have been there in the beginning from JZ came a little bit too late.
Bomb located by attackers.
And they had great success with those north window plants with Fuse. It's just the ability to do that is dependent on the defenders themselves.
So Gangster at the back of the B site is taking fire, and Taipan is trying to relieve some pressure by sprinting out into the car park. They don't really seem to know exactly where Gangster is. They're just spraying all around the room and hoping for a lucky shot. Barrage got a very, very uphill battle to go with this round. 4 rounds to 2. Yes, they have the round to spare, but they need to find and clean out some of these players. They're all at full health at the moment, bar this Castle in the box.
Who is but a scratch.
But a scratch indeed. Until that one, that's a nice shot. Willow puts it in the back of DJ's head, but all three of them huddled around one window now. Especially with the smoke inside that room, could turn out pretty bad.
Despite that kill, they're a little bit stalled out here.
Yeah, they got it more by luck than judgment too, from the way they're spraying and firing. Now they're finally deciding to drone on in and look at where Gangster may be. See him at the back of desks. And are thinking about where to move from there. Taipan is on the staircase though, and we'll see JZ as soon as he tries to come in here. JZ has gone straight into the barbed wire. The smoke grenade's going to come out, and I don't know how he's alive right now. I definitely don't know how he downed Gangster, but he does. Now he's finished off by Taipan from the staircase. Thumbs is left in through the same window. Oh, this is why Taipan moved up aggressively. Thumbs finishes Gangster off, but he will then lose Willow to Taipan. And Thumbs is now alone inside the site with the diffuser, and a Taipan flanking around behind him. Oh, moment of lack there from Osterity, letting them in a bit further than perhaps should have, but they cleaned it up nicely afterwards.
Yep. In the end, it really just came down to having those extra numbers, getting that pick on that Fuse on the north windows, not allowing him to use his utility, get those kills, or force anyone off of B. If Fuse had been allowed to force people off of B, or even get the kill onto B, then the round probably would have gone a different way, but that's not what happened. Now we're looking at 4-3 in favor of Barrage still, but one round away for Osterity to bring it into overtime and possibly get the 2-0 and move on to the next bracket.
So,
And they're going to be defending Kitchen Projector Room, which is the...
it's the maps room.
Yep, it's the maps room. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm a little puzzled by that fact it's not called maps.
Yeah, everyone calls it maps, but it's actually not. Technically, this is a separate room, which is Projector Room, and this is then the
giant
kitchen.
map room.
But this is the map room in the middle, which covers everything else on this floor.
And then there's the score, ladies and gentlemen, from the other match that's playing today. Supremacy lost to Lucky 7, 5-6 on Cafe Discorsi. You can do it. I can't.
Cafe Dostoyevsky.
There you go. See, I can't do it.
That is only their map 1 too, though. So when we do finish here, if we finish anytime soon,
we're still going to be
still going to have to wait for that game to get
yeah.
done before these guys have opponents. So we'll see how their second map goes. If Lucky 7 2-0 it while we're playing Skyscraper, then we may still have a chance.
Yep.
5 seconds
But
remaining.
judging by that scoreline 5-6, it looks like Lucky 7 is going to be slugging it out for that win.
recovered the
It's
bomb
going to be a tight
diffuser.
game, that's for sure.
Attackers
Yep.
are heading out to defuse a bomb. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
C4 on the
Attackers have
floor then
recovered
for
their
Wine Guns, making sure Thumbs gets a long way away before he blows it. And then
That's unfortunate.
it is even more unfortunate by the fact that it doesn't actually damage the floor. So yeah, that's a bit awkward. He now looks straight down through it and
Oh, look,
catches the
there's that
heartbeat
kill.
underneath him right there. These are the guys he was hoping to shoot at. They're both on drones. Or Deju was. Frenzy is. But Frenzy is just outside. These are the guys he wanted to shoot at as soon as they came through this door. But the...
Actually, I think the part that he C4'd is above the door outside.
Oh yeah, it is actually, yeah. So it's not destructible.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
entirely possible that it's not destructible. I've
Yeah,
never
it's
tested
that part of the floor is not destructible.
Mhm.
That's why then. I thought that was unfortunate. No,
You just messed up.
yeah. Yeah, looking at where he is, it was here. That floor is not destructible.
Mistakes made.
Yeah, so never mind. Never mind. Thought it was unfortunate, he was just bad. Frenzy takes a bit of damage from a friendly grenade there.
It looks like they're going to try to be, again, applying pressure to that B. They don't have a fuse, but they will be pushing their way into, I'm assuming they're probably going to push their way into the hallway, come up from underneath, open up the floor with that buck, maybe throw some grenades from underneath.
Ismo takes Winegum down.
That's their player in the hallway.
Yep, that was their kitchen hallway player taken out. He tried to push aggressively forward. This is going to be allowing a lot of B control here for the attacking Austerity squad, especially now that Dejuge has picked up Smits through the floor as well. The defense is down to 3, and one of them is on the top floor. Thumbs is here with a shotgun close to the kitchen door. Willow's decided to go down the staircase and took at Dejuge in garage. Then he comes back up. Taipan's going to be who he has to fight his way through if he wants to try and get towards the site. He's looking at this very nice angle to try and get Gangster on his way into the door. The fire is just rattling past him. The Dejuge through the floor takes out Thumbs. There's the shotgun down. Now Willow is the only man on this floor. The floor above has Jaeger, who does kill Ismu off. But that's not going to help him defend the side match, and Taipan pushes in right as Willow takes his eyes off the angle. JZX now alone upstairs as Taipan looking to hunt him. He's going to run outside in the corridor. Taipan's waiting for him, and we are going to go to overtime.
Fantastic timing from Taipan, managed to push them into overtime, but it was also the case of Barrage unfortunately getting a little too aggressive in that hallway, and then not being able to do anything about that buck in the basement. Now you saw that C4 come into the floor. He put it at the wrong part of the floor, somewhere where it wasn't destructible, and thus he wasn't able to get that kill on the buck. If he had been able to get that kill on the buck, 2 people wouldn't have died to get to him from underneath. They would have had a lot more anchors still on the site, and on top of that, they probably would have been able to play a little bit more passively, or if they had played a little bit more passively, they wouldn't have lost somebody in the hallway. Probably would have gone it differently. Maybe it would have seen a tie map already going into the 3rd map. But here we are now in overtime. Barrage needs to push this forward and bring it to that 3rd map to have chances of keeping in the winner bracket.
Thumbs has got a recruit. I don't know whether this is intentional or not. The players are running around and playing as if it is, and he is.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, just failing to pick an operator is not a reason for a remake, right? Like, so
No, it's not.
So if he literally just wasn't paying attention, then it's tough and go with it. But
I'm assuming it was actually intentional, because here's the thing: they're defending server room, and one thing that's really great to have on server room, ton of barbed wire. Recruit, and also what's great to have, a C4. You can play from underneath B, the whole floor is destructible, or you can play from underneath A, which most people plant in the box, and that's destructible. So I'm assuming the reason he picked Recruit was to either A, use that C4 to open up a wall for his teammates, or B, use that C4 to deny the bomb plant, and also, at the same time, not sacrifice any barbed wire.
so
But we'll see. It looks like he's just going to play in B. He's going to be their B player. Now, that's an interesting decision because he doesn't happen to have an ACOG, and the iron sights on the MP7 are fantastic, but they don't have magnification.
no, but if he is just fighting the L windows,
It shouldn't be that
it should
difficult.
be okay.
It's pretty easy to hit those shots, to be honest, but I still, with the C4, I would have imagined to see him underneath.
Well, Willow just made it even easier for him by hitting his shots with only a reflex sight. Out here onto Taipan, and the Ash that was trying to push him in boats. Being a very deep roamer here in Red Brick Building, doing a lot to defend and delay the Austerity push. And he is doing a great work now because they can't land any of their shots on him. That buck is very, very low, but he tries to dance left and right around the wall, and Frenzy will eventually finish him. But he did a lot of damage to kill the Ash and then do that much to the buck.
Wasted a
Who
minute.
doesn't look like they're going to... Well, they might reset him if he runs upstairs, but this is taking more and more time out of their day to get this done. And as far as the bandit's concerned... Oh, awkward.
Mistakes.
There we go. As far as the bandit's concerned, a very much worth spent his time.
Yep. And see, he even... Post-mortem, still wasting the time of the attackers with that reset. That's at least 30 seconds gone. And looks like we're going to probably see the... I think they're going to try and take control of the 1st floor and then do similar to taking control of basement and bucking up. Something like that. Probably into the B site, but they do have a Jaeger to contend with.
So, Dejuge starts to crack his way into the other building now, into the white building. After they've cleaned out red. JZX is in kitchen and was droned by Ismu, and then Gangster will clean him out as he tries to reposition. This has been some nice drone work here from these squads. And Osterity are playing very, very aggressively now. They do not want to go to a third map. They want to end this right here, right now. And they are up 4 players to 3 with a minute to go on this first round of overtime. Barrage is using thumbs as recruit into the kitchen doorway. The drone, I think he would have just missed, but Dejuge scouts straight past it and heads a different direction. Winegum is upstairs inside A, and Dejuge grenades himself.
So that's the second
awkward.
That's the second team kill from a grenade on Osterity. Last round they managed to pull it off, but this round's looking really grim now. They don't have a man advantage anymore, and there's only 25 seconds left in the round. They're only just getting boxed open. They're gonna have to walk into a crossfire and get the bomb plant to win this round.
They're gonna give it a shot. They know there's one at the back desk. They've double droned it now. They're wasting time here. One person is all it needs. 15 seconds to go. Winegum in connector. Here comes Ismo. Sprays to the connector. He's going to try and plant on the trapdoor. That's not good for the fuse possibilities. If he goes with it, we'll see. Frenzy looks for Barrage. Thumbs come behind. It's good cover, but can't survive Winegums. Winegums pushing forward, looking for the planter. Does find him, but he's a little bit late. Can't kill him in time. Ismo gets the kill and gets out alive. Only man left up is Smith. He has an impact lane left. All he needs to do is throw it on the trapdoor and he defuses the bomb. But does he know this? Is he going to be in presence of mind to be aware of this? He doesn't even have to kill these two. He just has to peek around that corner and destroy that trapdoor.
He's too focused on killing the players.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to know where the diffuser is. Turn around and look at the diffuser and you'll immediately know. They're outside. He can look straight at it and see the impact grenade on the trapdoor. He peeks out and they've repelled on in. He stands on the Claymore on his way back in.
Okay, so 2 incredible whiffs from Barrage there. Winegum managing to overlook the thermite sitting in the corner and then allowing him to kill him after he got off the plant. And then we saw there Castle failing to use his impact grenade to defuse the bomb. For those of you who do not know, if a bomb is planted on a drop down and the drop down is destroyed, the attackers automatically lose that round.
Because the bomb has left the bomb site.
Exactly.
It's no longer there. It is
and it can't be replanted,
and
so...
he can't use the excuse of, I didn't know where the diffuser was, because the pulse would have detected it while fighting that
He saw it. He looked at
it.
Yeah. The Castle saw it, too. They all knew where the diffuser was. That was unfortunate, a double whammy whiff, but now Osterity putting themselves in map and best of 3 points. This is it. If they win this round on this defense, this is their preferred defense upstairs, of course, then they take it home and they move on in the winner bracket.
So, time then for Osterity to dig in deep, count their blessings for having won that round, and well, Barrage are going to be kicking themselves. I hope for their sake they don't realize that they could have done that until after the game, and they're not kicking themselves with it like now. They're not in this round.
They're probably talking about it right now. They're like, wait a minute, you know what we could have done?
And if they are doing that, they're going to only hurt themselves right now. Need to forget about it, play as if it's 0-0, and play this round as if it's a brand new game.
You know what I noticed about
easier said than done.
The Osterity defense here? If you could go back to the top down for a second, they have a tremendous amount of barbed wire all over the upper floor. Whereas on the last defense we saw from Barrage, there was 2 in the hallway and 1 or 2 outside of some of the windows. And sure, they took that recruit for the extra barbed wire, but there's so much.
Well, recruit doesn't even have extra barbed wire anymore.
He only has the 2.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it probably. Honestly, I don't know.
I mean, compared to the other operators that run barbed wire, he must have preferred the MP7 over their weapons or something.
It was
and
probably the case.
Maybe the C4, but he never used it.
Exactly. So, he wasn't playing a position where it was viable.
But as is now, it is time for the Osterity defense to go into full swing because the Barrage attack is underway. Frenzy and Dejuge are once again.
They're set up to rotate into the garage just in case they start getting pressured in maps and they can come up from behind.
Yeah, as you said, those 2 punches on the window that he's done here lets them vault out of that, and they can then go straight down into the garage and get out safely if required. And with the fuse charges to be dodged away from again, hidden from, that may be something they need. But as it is, Fuse is actually going to pick those windows to be from. And to be fair, if they are in presence of mind to hear this, they can literally leap out from them and kill him from underneath in the process. So it might be a double win. We'll find out if they're aware. Dejuge is over by Kitchen. He's trying to edge his way up here to this window. Frenzy is on the inside of it. It is quite a distance though. He's trying to do it from up top, get as much spread as possible, have it dance as far around the room as he can. Here they go. They do go right over towards Frenzy. He does dance away from this one, and he kills himself with the fuse charge.
Wah, wah, wah.
Nothing going Barrage's way in this game.
That's 3 whiffs in 2 rounds. That's pretty unfortunate. Really, honestly, just unlucky, seemingly. Especially on that fuse death. But now, it's 1 minute left, and they're man down. They have to apply some serious pressure here. They got the pick onto Frenzy. Will it be enough? That's one of their roamers.
So, Taipan running around towards box as Thumbs is starting to plant the charge, blows it open. He ducks away as the blow up in front of him. He did take JZX quite low on the staircase before that, but Willow will now pick up a good kill onto Dejuge downstairs. They're starting to take these roamers out. Frenzy was also killed off, so the Jaeger is no longer a factor, and there are only 3 defenders left alive. However, not a lot of health onto that Capitao, and no health left on Willow now as he tries to come up the north stairs and fight Doc. His moat takes him out, heals himself back up to full health, and now Ash has been taken low on the roof as well. 30 seconds to go. Thumbs is the only healthy player they have, and he has to plant again. Ismo is at the back of the room and is being pre-fired by Thumbs. He's now looking at a connector for Gangster.
Taipan's in a great position to deny this plant whenever they do, and there's only 15 seconds left.
All he has to do is stop the planter. JZX and the Ash don't have time to get over and pick it up once it's been dropped, so here he comes in. JZX gets a good kill onto Taipan. He's moving forward to the trapdoor and will begin the plant. We're worried up with JZX who's looking for Ismo. Gangster's killed Smith. JZX kills Ismo. Gangster's the last man standing with the plant is going through. He cannot get to stop it, so it will continue. The bomb is down. Thumbs is out on the balcony and he can see where it's planted. He would have been there if it was half a second sooner. JZ's at the back of the desk. JZ is firing the shots off. Gangster tags nothing. JZ has so little health left. Gangster takes some damage himself and is now heading to the back of the room. Thumbs is going to be out on the box. I'm pretty sure he's confident he knows this. Pre-fires through the desk and does finish off JZ with a destructible desk. Thumbs now out on the balcony, has a claymore at the door. Gangster is heading dangerously close towards it. Gets up onto the balcony into another claymore and will fall. Barrage, after, to be fair, what started out kind of disastrously,
Unlucky.
have a great hold to keep themselves in this.
Yep. That was a great attack on, like you said, but honestly, you have to give props, I think, mostly just to JX there. There were 2 things that were going to stop that thermite from getting that plant. There was the bandit sitting right next to him, and there was the, I think it was the dock in connector. And JZ just walked in, swooped in, and said no to both of those things. Ended up winning them that round. It looks like we do have a drop, so we'll be having to get a rehost. It is 5-5 though. We're going to come right back as soon as we get them all in the lobby.
That's
I think
the worst time to have a cancel
yeah,
crash.
at 5-5.
Yeah. So, yeah, we are, of course, going to run to a break. We'll have them back in. It's going to be the last deciding round. It's going to be Osterity once more on attack. It's going to be Barrage on defense. And it is going to be an absolute nail-biter. If Barrage successfully take it 6-5, we will be heading to Skyscraper as our 3rd final deciding map. And I admit, there's part of me that kind of really wants to see that get played.
No, I think so too. This has been a fantastic match. Both of these teams showing a lot of skill. Obviously, Barrage is a little bit more used to Canal, so a lot closer. They have been getting a little bit unlucky in those last rounds. I feel like they pushed through it. They're managed and they brought it to 5-5. So we'll find out in a moment after this break.
Yeah. See you in a second. Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is our final round of overtime. Osterity on attack, Barrage on defense. 5 rounds to 5. Osterity win this one, we're done. And we are wrapped up this match. Barrage win, we head to Skyscraper as our third deciding.
I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to if Austerity can manage to put good use out of that, get good use out of that fuse. I think historically they're the ones who've been using glass on attack, so it's interesting to see them mix that up. It's a good thing, I think personally, a healthy thing for the meta to see all these Russian operators coming into the mix, and I'm really happy to. Personally, I'm very happy to see it. Again, like you said, this is 5-5, so this is the very final round. No matter what happens here, whoever wins this round will move on to either the next map or the next bracket. And because we're gonna see this castle probably on both these windows, and I'm assuming Barrage is definitely. So we talked about this earlier. Barrage, their castle, they didn't put these on because at the first round because they weren't sure if Austerity was gonna run fuse or not, and they've learned that Austerity does not run fuse, and now Austerity coming out with that random pick, throwing Barrage off. They don't know that they're gonna see fuses coming through those castles. But it's probably going to hurt when it does. I also want to see if they're going to be able to make their way onto the north windows. For, on one of the rounds, Barrage managed to get their fuse onto the north windows of B, and completely uncontested. He got a kill on the roamer in maps, and he managed to pressure the guy in B out from behind server, winning them the round. But, you know, again, I'm not sure how they're going to use, Austerity's going to use their fuse because obviously they haven't been. And I'm excited to see what they do.
So, Fuse is heading his way around towards the north side, but slowly but surely, you see those windows there in maps are pre-prepped again by Jaeger to give him a way out and down towards the garage if required. Taipan is already very quickly inside model room and underneath the box, which I'm sure he will ash charge up from underneath shortly and give himself a way to stop any batteries or anything else. Fuse repelling up to the window on top floor. He's cautious and unsure about putting that fuse charge on their castle barricade because there is a man waiting on the inside of it with a C4 and he was shot at, so he knows exactly that. Gangster up and underneath now, looking to try and grenade into maps, doesn't hold it long enough that he would kill himself by screwing it up like that, and runs away to safety, but still gets it wrong. JZX has been taken out by Frenzy though, and that's the man in maps they were trying to hunt, so he is down and out, and Willow is the next line of defense on the staircase. Frenzy finds him with his drone, his Mo does it too.
JZX
it's time for the fuse charges to go off on the top floor. Bouncing towards the A site, and they do spread quite nicely. Willow is actually on the other side of the wall to that one. He is lucky to be alive. That wall is not reinforced, and it was right there. But it does mean he cannot battery trick. Thermite charges are going to go off on the wall. Taking his time to actually blow it, so it could have been batteried after all of that. Willow just lets it go through. Jiju flashbanging the back of the desks to fight off with Wine Gun, and then we'll fuse charge again. This time a little bit closer to the A-bomb. They bounce around once more. Willow has to sprint on out. Again, no one seriously injured by any of these. Just a little bit of movement caused, and no one really punishing it. Willow is sprinting around and running away from these fuse charges, but no one's actually doing anything to catch him off guard when he does.
Yeah, as you said, the whole point of fuse is to reposition the defenders forcefully, if not kill them.
Up the staircase comes Ash, and Willow will straight up win that fight. They did finally give him some time to do what he wants, and he will take someone down with him if he does. He's shown that as before. He's a great player. Wingup gets killed at the back desk by Fuse. Ismu's now up front, and a great shot from Willow takes down the diffuser. Still holding firm. His shotgun Valkyrie, though, is taken out behind him, and they are down to the one last player. Willow did what he could, but it's not enough. And Osterity, with that win, advanced to our upper bracket final in 3 quick kills to round out the final overtime round.
So it did seem like